Before we begin, please be informed that I am concerned with being, with the good, the right and the true, and I'm not very interested in myself or yourself. Because if I was interested in myself, I'd start talking about myself, and it wouldn't be long before I was into selfness. And as soon as I get into selfness, I start to get into selfishness. And as soon as I get into selfishness, I start to suffer. So I would like us all to open this meeting between you and me by asking you, is there anything good in your life? Please don't tell me how bad it is, will you? Not yet, anyway. Is there anything good in my life, in the body listening to these words? Is there? Now, you don't have to answer here, but all you've got to do is look. Is there anything good in your life? What we tend to do is to look for the problem first. And you've heard me say probably that the human mind, which is the world, which is us, myself, always puts everything round the wrong way. It doesn't matter what you like to mention to me, whether it's children, lovers, accommodation, work, money, the human mind puts everything back to front. And the first thing that it does that I can demonstrate to you, the first thing that it does is it always looks for the problem. Not for what is already not problematical. The human mind lives off problems. Now, if you look into your life for the problem, what are you going to find? You are going to find problems. Because the law of life is that what you want, what you truly look for, what you're looking for is what you get. Incredible, isn't it? So if you look for problems in your life, then, by the divine will, because it is God's will to give you whatever you want, then you will get them. So I ask you, please, to reverse the irresistible, almost, stream of the human mind, the human condition. And please look into your life now and see, is there anything good in it? If there is, then please acknowledge it. Always acknowledge the good first. From that place, you then achieve a clarity which will enable you then to look at the difficulties in your life or the difficult situations in your life and be able to see what action to take. But if I look for the problem in my life first, I will inevitably start to think about the problem. And as soon as I start to think about the problem, action goes further and further away. And the thinker takes over my life, and my body becomes a thinking self instead of a beautiful, sweet body, existential body of sense perception. The only enemy in your body, that body listening to these words, is the thinker. There is no other enemy in you but the thinker. That is the Western mind. If you give up thinking, everything's fine. Now, what is thinking? Thinking, to define it, is to think about myself. Now, if I am a businessman, I run my business not by thinking about myself. If I start to think about myself in relation to my business, I start to get emotional and unhappy, and I toss and turn all night. But if I look at the situation of my business, not thinking about myself, but look at the situation of my business, there is a chance that I will come up with the right solution or a contribution towards the right solution as action. So I'm defining for you forever and ever so that you will know until the day you die why you suffer. You will always suffer when you think about yourself. There is no escape from that. You think about yourself, you suffer. You think about the situation, meaning, here's the situation. What am I going to do about it? There seems to be several choices in it, and I've got to act. What do I do? I think about the situation. Really, it's I look at the situation. Right. That's pure. That's clean. That's holy. That's life. But as soon as I think about, with fear, what will happen to me, which means what will happen to myself, that's what it means, I then start to quake, get fearful. At that moment, anyone can step in and manipulate me because they know I'm afraid. And they will play on my fear of losing. And soon I will be an emotional mess, being manipulated by somebody, because I'm manipulating myself by thinking about myself. Now, if you have a difficulty in your life, any aspect of your life, my next question is to you, what are you doing about it? Not what you're thinking of doing. Please don't give me that one. For that will be the thinker thinking about what you're going to do, and the thinker has never done anything in its thinking life. What are you doing about the situation? What are you staking your whole life on? Yes, your life. Not a bit of your life. What are you prepared to stake your whole life on? If you're with a lover and you are unhappy, well, what are you prepared to stake your whole life on because it is the truth for you? Not part of your life, please. The thinker gets up to that. The self always wages a little part of what it can lose. It thinks it can lose. Well, I can take that sort of a risk, but that's all. And you get back the same return, a little bit. I'm looking for man and woman who's prepared to stake their life on their life. That's what I'm here for. And I'm getting it. And I'm going to get it. But I want the sacrifice, the supreme sacrifice, so that you can get your life right. You won't get it right any other way. In other words, you're going to die for it. Because if you don't die for it, you'll never get rid of yourself. Because it's only yourself that dies. But you've got to know what you're doing. Okay, so I'll come to the first heading here, what I was talking about earlier.